Hey everyone, today I'm going to go over Lady Deathwhisper Heroic 25 man as a tank. Just going to do a little commentary on one of my kills. So at the beginning here, we're just getting a little bit of damage in at the start, and then we're going to have to pick up ads pretty much immediately. So you're going to be assigned to one of the sides, and there's going to be 3 ads coming out of that side. And it's random whether or not it's going to be 2 melee mobs in one caster or 2 casters in one melee mob. This mob right here is super dangerous. When one of the cult fanatics gets dark transformation, they turn into this little A-bomb thing and it will just one-shot you. It does so much damage. It's like 100k on a tank. So when this comes out, you need to kite it and let your DPS know to just be really careful because you're not really going to have threat on this thing. Just keep an eye on it for taunts here. And so there, like the hunter pulled it away, and then I taunted it back. We kind of ping ponged it there. So that was good. And we really like to pull things into kind of this area. Both sides kind of meet up between these two pillars. This gives us an area where we can like line of sight the casters to get them to come in for cleave, but also it just gives us kind of a central location to pull ads to, where everything can be cleaved down and Deathwhisper can still be hit by cleave as well. There's also another ad that will come from the doorway. In this case, the other tank was picking that one up, but that is something you need to be aware of. One of the tanks on one of the sides needs to also be in charge of picking up the back ad as well. So another thing, the cult fanatics, they're going to cast Vampiric Might. I recommend you add that to like your plater so you can see when that's up. It increases their damage done and they heal when they do damage. So it's good to monitor that because you're going to take a lot more damage when they have that buff. And you can call for like purges and dispels on that too. It is a magic buff that can be purged. So we have another dark transformation. You can see it over here. It's being kited around. The hunters are pretty key for this. They can like frost traps and then just, helping like MD or like distracting shot from far away to make it, get out of melee is always good. Here we're just getting the boss pretty low on mana here. We're gonna get it to around 200k, and then we're gonna stop damage on her to let the final wave of ads spawn. And we want to make sure we have all the ads or most of them down when we do push, because we don't want to have to deal with 7 ads while we're doing a phase transition. In this particular kill, we were running 3 tanks, 1 ad tank, which was me, and 2 boss tanks that are just fighting for threat, basically. In some of my other runs, we do a Blood DK and Frost Res gear, about 510 Frost Res, and the DPS don't kick any of the Frost Bolts, they just let those happen to the tank, and that way the tank doesn't get the threat reduction debuff. So we phased there. I'm the ad tank in this phase, so it's my job to just pick up these ads. You could pull these onto the boss. I find it helps people a lot if you just kind of tank them off to the side here, because kind of the biggest thing that's going to kill people in these phases is these purple ghosts here. You can see one already went off there. When these ghosts explode, when they reach somebody, they just do a lot of AoE damage. And honestly, that's like pretty much the only reason you wipe on this fight is when people get hit by the ghosts. So if you're like dragging 3 ads through everything, it just makes it kind of harder to see things. Plus, people got to watch out for the ghosts on top of watching out for your ads cleaving too. So I think it's easiest for everybody if you just kind of tank these on the side. Once you get really familiar with the fight and you're trying to min-max damage, you could bring these onto boss for cleave, but at least while you're learning, I definitely recommend just tanking these off to the side and not having them in amongst the rest of your raid, because it just makes things hard to see, gives people another thing they gotta watch out for, getting away from that cleave. You can help out with some of the MCs too. If like there you saw I hodged him. If you see like somebody isn't CC, just whatever you can do to help. but generally they're going to be handled by other people in your raid. Just something to be aware of. So just really key, you're watching the DBM timer, making sure before the ad timer comes up, you're already over there. Don't let it catch you by surprise. The times you can take a lot of damage over here, usually it's when you have two fanatics up. Those are the melee mobs. And some other chaos is happening in the raid, like healers are MC'd, lots of raid damage, somebody just got hit by a ghost, whatever. So anytime there's two melee mobs up, that's when you should look to use like your defensive cooldowns. That is like kind of the only time you're going to be in danger as an ad tank ever on this fight. So just kind of be aware of that. And the ads, they can be stunned, they can be slowed. Like I've definitely had kills where like towards the end, if things got a little spicy, I might have like rocket booted away. So just keep that in mind. Like you don't necessarily have to just stand still the entire time with these. This is a fight that is just prone to spiciness. Also, when ads or when ghosts spawn near you, make sure you're calling that out, that there's ghosts near the ads. Because, like I said before, this is like the primary thing people wipe to in this fight, just getting hit by ghosts. So, as the ad tank, if you notice there's some by the ads, just call out like ghost by the ads, watch out. And they spawn constantly, as you can see. It's just nonstop. But this fight, like, it as an ad tank, it's very, very easy. Like, you're basically just going to one side, picking up 3 ads, calling out if ain't ghost spawn here. You can see here, it gets a little spicy for me here. I salve myself for damage reduction. And we're all right there. We go back in, but we basically we go to the side, pick up 3 ads, maybe use a defensive sometimes, then go back into the middle, and then we're going to go off to the other side, pick up ads again. They do alternate every single time. So that's just something to be aware of. You're just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So as usual, pick up all the ads, and any interrupts you can do are great too, because these casters, they put the curse on people that increases their cooldowns by 15 seconds. Ideally, they don't even get that cast off because that should get decursed, but people frequently will like cast 1 or 2 things when it's on them on accident, and that could really be a problem if that was like a holy light or something, you know? So yeah, just very routine as the ad tank, just going back and forth, looking for spirits, picking up your ads. You can look for some good D-sacks too, like before the frostbolt volleys. Maybe after like somebody's gotten hit by a ghost too and the whole raid's really low. That's a good time to kind of help the healers catch up. But yeah, it's pretty much just a little dance back and forth, and you're going to be repeating the same things over and over again. If you are an ad tank, or if you are a boss tank on this fight, you will have to be moving a lot. You're going to have to be paying really close attention to where these ghosts are spawning and trying to move the boss away from them so that the melee are safe. They're pretty much always just going to follow the boss wherever it goes. So you play a very important role in trying to keep them safe. And when she does cast the ghost, you can see like these pink beams kind of fly out to the position where the ghost is going to spawn. So keep an eye out for that. Like you can see one right there, back there that just went out. We can rewind. So at the very end of the fight, you can see one go there. It doesn't actually spawn a ghost, I don't think. Actually, it did, it looks like. But yeah, look for those like beams and then just look for these ghosts moving around. In the middle of the room, there's like so much chaos going on, so many people moving around and everything. It can be really tough to see. So your whole goal as like boss tank there is basically just watching those. The Deathwhisper damage is going to be really low on you. So you don't have to be too concerned with that as long as like good interrupts are happening if your strat is 2 tanks and no interrupts are happening. But you have a lot of frost res gear if your strat is to do that. And if you are doing the frost bolt like no interrupts strat, you also want to make sure Curse of Tongues is on the boss. That's just obviously going to reduce the damage she's doing to you by 30% by reducing that cast time. But that's the whole fight right there. It can seem like there's a lot going on, but if you just kind of break it down into what your role is, it becomes a lot simpler. So I hope that was helpful for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.